Hello! Today I'm going to talk about fear. We're going to keep this fairly lighthearted. This is going to be about things I fear, and the reason I wanted to talk about this was because I just started college and there are some scary things at college. It's kind of a long story, it's not a particularly exciting story, so I'm just going to skip that. It got me thinking about things I fear and stuff. So I used to fear high dives a lot. Yeah, that was a big thing. I never feared flying, but I definitely feared turning on a plane, because the whole plane, you know, like that, the whole plane, oh my gosh, I'm so awkward. The whole plane would go sideways. That's a pretty scary thing. It could easily flip, I guess. Well, I definitely feared being out in high school, and that's a real fear. Not that turning in planes and high dives weren't a real fear, but you know, they were different. They were very different fears. They were fears that you can walk away from, and being out was not a fear that you can really walk away from because it follows you around. It's hard to escape that fear, even when you're not out. Before I was out, I was afraid of being out. Once I was out, I was afraid of being out. There was nowhere to walk away from it. Yay, lights! I turned on the lights because I had to plug in my charger. Anyway, so all the fears I had were pretty justified fears. They were pretty normal. Even being afraid of being out is a very normal thing among LGBT youth. Maybe in the future it won't be. I think we already see some of that. You know, youth now, I sound so old saying that since I'm definitely in that category. In some communities, in some places of the world, youth now are not fearing it as much and not having extreme anxiety about it. But I did. One of the fears I had that was different than most people was I was really afraid of talking. And not in a sense that I was shy, but I guess I became shy because of it. I had a bad lisp since I was a little kid. It started with not being able to talk. I wasn't able to talk early on. I started going to speech therapy maybe when I was 2 and a half. I had problems with S, SH, TH, Z, J. I think that's it. My name is Jenna Mason-brase. Hard name to say. It used to sound like Jenna Mason-brase. I remember how to do it. So I was afraid to talk. I wasn't too afraid to talk to friends. I just kind of forgot about it. They would let me forget about it. My friends were really great about not having an issue with it. But in class, I would be very afraid to talk. I wouldn't raise my hand. I wouldn't read things aloud. For years, I'd worked on getting a better S and TH and J and all that stuff. I'd gone to speech therapy since I was 2. I'd worked on this S, and it was really, well, it sounded, how to explain it? It didn't sound good. It sounded rough, it sounded forced, and it just didn't sound natural. And it wasn't natural. It wasn't natural for me at all. I had to learn how to talk. That's a really weird thing to do, since everyone else knows how, and I had no idea how to say these things. Like, for instance, learning to say anything with an SH. We would take a word like shoe, go t-su, t-su, and then you say it over and over again really fast, like shoe, shoe, and then eventually it gets to shoe, shoe, shoe. So that's that. I'd worked on it for a long time, and when I was 15, I finally felt like it was pretty good. I thought it might be good enough to start using, but I was terrified to do it. I didn't know if it sounded right because it still sounded pretty forced because I hadn't used it in everyday life, so I didn't have the practice using it, so I was really scared to do it. Until, this was when I was 15, right before I was outed. By the same girl who had outed me. She also had given me a lot of confidence. If you don't know that story, you could watch my coming out video. I talk about that there. There was this girl who gave me extreme confidence, and she was amazing and great, and she kept saying wonderful things to me and how great I was. And she was just supportive of me. She made me feel fearless, which is how I ended up coming out to her, and obviously that didn't go well. I guess I felt like I adored her enough to be fearless about it, that I didn't even care what people thought of me or if they hated me for being gay or whatever, because I adored her so much that none of that mattered. It gave me this immense courage, and one day I remember walking into class and talking with her and being pretty terrified that people would notice it and point it out, and nobody pointed it out. No one brought it up. And this was a big deal in my Spanish class because a big part of being in the Spanish class is participation points that I was not getting because I was not speaking. Suddenly I was able to do it, and pretty quickly, since I was using this S all the time, my old S and TH and everything vanished. So that's that story of how I conquered that fear. The point of this story and the point of this video is that these are all fears I used to have. I used to fear being out, and now I have 2 YouTube channels dedicated to being out. Not everything I make is about being gay. It's just kind of mind-blowing to me that I get most of my success from what used to scare me more than anything else. I can jump off high dives now, so yay for that. I can darken planes, everything that I used to fear, I don't fear anymore. I don't fear talking anymore. I am talking to a bunch of people on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye.